dates all the way back to the beginning of time, or 1823, saying that democratic states and non-democratic states typically are not major allies. Democracies are more likely to align with another democracy and less likely to go to war with another democratic state. Pretty simple, really. The variables involved are the independent variables, non-democratic states, and the dependent variables, democratic states. The relationships that are formed between democracies will typically occur at a higher rate than those between states who have contradicting democratic views. We will see far more alliances between states that have aligning governmental structures if there's a situation such as a disagreement between democratic states and non-democratic states, such as if, let's say, a non-democratic state that was becoming a nuclear threat, then states who are against this threat, let's say democratic states, would ally together against this state and all the other allies that the non-democratic, now nuclear state has. Each part to this theory is important and relies on each variable because one cannot occur without the other. To test if the previous hypothesis is true, I looked at the governmental structures of the states I am applying the hypothesis to. Once I know which states are democratic and non-democratic, I can see which states have formed alliances, either based on aligning governmental structures or alliances formed because of a disagreement between states that caused an unusual alliance to form. Tests such as this one have variables calculated looking at the frequency of alliances formed under different circumstances and using the chi-square formula and looking at the numbers resulting and how they relate to other such tests and how those results came out comparing the data. Cases that this test is used for is to see the correlation between either issues happening within a state and how it affects another variable, such as relationships with other states. In the lab project we did in class, we looked at the relationships between states in different regions of the world and if they have alliances based on their governmental structure. The results of the test showed that the same number of states who are democratic and non-democratic will ally with states with the same views as them. It also showed that if states are both non-democratic, they will have close to the same number of allies as no allies. Democratic states will have more allies than no allies at a 7-to-1 ratio. The chi-square results show that there does seem to be a pattern between states forming alliances with those similar to them and not forming alliances with those who differ. So, concluding, states who are both democracies will have a much higher chance of not only forming alliances, but also not fighting in wars with other democracies. A fun little fact that supports this from study.com saying that there have not been any wars between democracies in the 20th century. So there's my piece on democratic peace.